What's good, everybody? Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope you're getting all the love, peace, and respect that you deserve today because you fucking deserve that shit. Don't let nobody tell you anything different. So I dropped Pip off at the bus stop. God, I gotta get a haircut. I gotta cut my shit. Had a great night sleeping last night. My belly feels a little better. So I'm going into work tonight, but it's 9 o'clock. Yeah, it's just 9 o'clock. And home alone, sitting here and I'm looking at YouTube. YouTube is like my shit. So one of the things that I've noticed, we left New York in October of last year. I want to say within 2 weeks of us leaving the Bronx, right? Because shit was going crazy in New York anyway. People doing shit that just didn't make any sense. A bunch of different things, right? And it seemed like about 2 weeks after we left New York, the Bronx in particular started getting hit with certain things happening. Matter of fact, one of the things was there was a kid that was in a car driving erratically on B Road, and then he got surrounded by the cops. And the story was he tried to take off, so they shot him in the head. That was right down the block from where we used to live. Not only that, but there's been other things happening in the Bronx that were right in the area that we lived. So I just want to give thanks today. Like, seriously, thank you, Most High, because when my dad passed, it took a lot for me to say, you know what, I'm gonna leave New York anyway. It took a lot because I've been used to New York. I moved back to New York after I left Virginia the first time. I think it was 86, 87. So I've been in New York consistently that whole time. It's hard to leave something that you're used to. You know what I mean? Even if it's jacked up, it's hard to leave something that you're used to. This is why... when you get into the whole battered woman syndrome, it makes you wonder, like, why the fuck did she stay with this guy? It's because that's what she was used to. Same thing with places where you live. You get used to a certain thing and all right, well, that's just the way it is. So it took a lot for me to say, you know what? Let's move. Because I honestly believe, because Savannah was with me on the moving part because both of us were sick of our jobs at that point. It was just, and it's not that we were sick of our jobs because our jobs were just such horrible places. It's just that everything that we had been dealing with up until that point had just become too much. God, and I'm one of the first people to say this. I really hate blaming everything on COVID, but I'm serious. COVID unleashed a kraken that I've never fucking seen before in my life because all kinds of things started happening after that. So after COVID, Savannah got hit first because she was working at St. Barnabas. And this was when COVID was this Chinese disease that just came out of China and they didn't know that much about it. They weren't really giving out the proper PPEs. She ended up with COVID because this was 2 years ago and it was like February, March. So she was like in the beginning, right? So there was that going on. So she was out of work. We at 1199 started working remotely. That got crazy because it's hard enough doing that kind of job in the office. Trying to do that kind of job from home, it was okay in the sense that you didn't have to travel, but it was not okay in the sense that you didn't have the same access to printers and the stuff that you really, really needed to be comfortable working from home. Um, Not only that, but they started dumping more work on us. So that got crazy. So Savannah was later. Oh, and she wasn't compensated. This is before they started compensating people for getting sick with COVID. So, like I said, she got hit. It was the beginning. It was before they knew what they know now about it. So she was out of work for like a month and a half. No compensation. I was working at home. Her and Pip were living, we're all living together. So Pip couldn't sleep in her room. Pip was with me 24/7. She couldn't go to school because schools had closed down. She was in the process of getting enrolled into, PS 132, 132? What's the name of it? See what happens when you don't speak about something, you can forget it. But yeah, she was in the process of getting enrolled. COVID hit, everything just stopped. So I'm homeschooling her because I'm realizing, you know what, she needs to know something when school starts. So I'm trying to homeschool her. I ended up taking a 6-week leave because it was just too much between Savannah being sick, me trying to make sure that nobody else in my house got sick because my sister was living there. I think Nima was still there for a little bit. But, trying to make sure that nobody else got sick because my sister wasn't, her health wasn't at the best either. So trying to make sure that none of us got sick, making sure that Savannah was getting healthy, making sure that I could still do my job, still trying to homeschool Pip. It was a lot that was happening at one time. So I did a lot of praying during that 6-week leave because that was before I realized that my dad was sick. But we were already in the process of thinking about, you know what, New York is starting to become a lot. What about moving to Virginia? So I honestly believe that the Most High makes things work in a way that you don't understand. You may not get the process. You may not like the process. But sometimes you just got to go through shit. So we ended up, we were actually planning to come for vacation. And then we got the call the week before we were supposed to leave that he, was in the hospital. So that kind of precipitated everything. We honestly, I thought anyway that he was going to get better. I really was praying for that because my dad, my mom passed away, 97. So my dad's been my rock since then. And I really didn't want to face the fact that he wasn't going to be here physically. But once I had to face that fact, I honestly think it was the Most High that said, you know what? Virginia is where you still need to go. Go. So we came. And I'm so glad. Because I'm telling you, the Kraken that was unleashed after we left, honey, all happened in the Bronx where we used to live. So this long ass video is just to give thanks for the fact that we're not in the Bronx anymore. I have a job that I really, really, really like down here. Savannah has a job that she likes. Pip has a school that she likes. We're thinking about changing her though, because that school, after Savannah had to talk with Pip's teacher, that school may not be the place for her. And not in a bad way. It's just that Pip's different from those kids, if that makes any sense. There are some kids that you can see there, that maybe they grew up together, they're in the same neighborhood, they all have a certain survival instinct that maybe came about because of where they lived and whom their parents were and stuff like that. Pip's not like those kids. Pip, she's different. So I was really happy that her teacher recognized that, and he wants her to get the attention that she deserves. Because at the school where she's at, the bad kids get the attention because there's such problems. The good kids don't really get that attention and encouragement, that they should get. So, that's something that we're dealing with now. But you know what? It's all on the path to fucking greatness. I made a video yesterday, maybe the day before, about what is success. People measure success in many different ways. A lot of them attribute success to material wealth. They attribute it to how much shit you got and what you can do on any given day. I don't measure success that way. I measure success in how happy you are and how happy your spirit is. You know what I mean? When you're doing service for others. Well, all right. You know what? I'm just going to put it on me. When I am doing something for somebody else, that makes me happy. When I was working at $11.99 and I was interviewing these folks and I was, creating these relationships with these people that really wanted to work, and I would, interview them and talk up their good points and get them to feel really good when they went on the interview and they called me and said, "Hey, Miss Sanchez, I got that job." That shit gave me so much joy. And that's just $11.99. Any job that I worked at where I was helping someone in some way, shape, or form, that made me that shit is what buoyed my spirit and made me bounce home. Because you know what? I made somebody feel good. I gave somebody a really good date. And I'm still like that. So, financially, I'm not where I want to be. Like in my video that I made about what is success, I had $5 in the bank and I still got that $5. I'm holding on to it. But and I have another week before I get paid. But guess what? That doesn't make me happy, of course, but my bills are paid. Well, not all of them, but the bills that are necessary got paid. And I still have a good job. I still am able to provide, help and service to folks. And that, to me, is what makes success. So, hey, successful people, happy Thursday. Get out there and do something that's going to make you happy. All right? Because I'm pretty sure if you guys think back to a time in your life when things were really jacked up. If it's still jacked up now, then you kind of shit out of luck. I was trying to help. But if it's not as jacked up as right now as it was then, count your blessings. All right? I guess that's the lesson to be learned. Just count your blessings. I've been counting my blessings a lot lately because especially, when I look at news of what's happening in the Bronx and knowing that this is a place that I frequented or an area that I frequented or a place that was right up the block from me, and that could have been me laying on the floor or one of my family members like Pip or Savannah. And I think about the fact that we escaped that. And I want to say narrowly because I'm telling you within weeks of us being down here, all of a sudden, every time you turn around, it was a new story about something happening in the Bronx that I'm glad that we missed. So, just wanted to say that to everybody. Count your blessings, y'all. Count your blessings. If your blessings are not what you want them to be, then maybe there's something else you got to do. But ask. Just ask. Ask. You'll get it. Trust me. Happy Thursday.